Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. I don't always get to do this stuff, and when I do, I like it's a real responsibility. Honestly, it feels like a responsibility being able to talk to you guys who you're like at the beginning of your career and have a lot of, like I said, a lot of opportunity ahead of you. You have a lot of opportunity ahead of you guys, especially right now with all the technological change that's coming. That's already here. It's just like things are taking a little bit more time to catch up, especially when it comes to AI and this new super intelligence that we have at our fingertips right now, which I'm very passionate about because I grew up with technology. I'm from Silicon Valley. I'm from the Bay Area, California, originally, between LA, Los Angeles and the Bay Area, two of the, central hubs of culture and technology. And I've spent the last 10 years, 11 years in New York City, around that hustle culture and traveling the world from New York. And if it wasn't for the creative industries, I would be depressed. I would for sure be depressed. I started out I went to college in a small arts college in Orange County, California, business administration with marketing. And I somehow got into the music industry because all my friends were artists. They were all producers. They were all rappers. they were all, just creatives, right? And I didn't have that much creativity when it came to creating art. Like I knew how to use the internet. I knew how to make websites. I knew how to, I knew things that, about the internet before many people were even on the internet, right? In 1999 as a 10-year-old, right? And that was because of my proximity to San Francisco Bay Area, California. So by the time I got to college, I was always like into music. Who isn't into music? I'm pretty sure every one of you guys likes music, right? Like everyone loves music, and I fell in love with it, as I grew up, and like I just wanted to be around it all the time. All my friends, like I said, were rappers. They were, in the band at school, orchestra. My wife was a trained, cellist, and so like everyone I knew grew up around music. I was just horrible at it. I sucked at it. I tried playing guitar. I was like, I can't do this. I don't have the brain for this. So I just wanted to be around it, go to shows, hang out with the, managers, the artists, everything. So in college in 2008-9, I met one of my best friends, who's still one of my best friends, Amit, and we were like, let's just start a radio show. Let's just get on this. We called it Magic Carpet Radio. We're both Indian, and we were like, let's just own the narrative. This Magic Carpet Radio. And we would just play, our favorite records and local music from friends and people at the school, at the college at Chapman University, and actually that experience turned into a club on campus called Team Backpack, right? It was just like it was based around this like idea of backpack rap, which was really just lyrical rappers, right? People just rapping to rap, right? And so we started this club on campus. It became we started throwing events. We brought big rappers from around the country to the school. We started out, normal college stuff for back then. And I felt involved. It was the only thing that helped me like feel connected to the school, besides like some of the teachers and classes, right? Like I wasn't really, I didn't know why I was going to school. I feel like you guys know why you're in school right now, right? You're here for a reason. When in 2008-9, like you just went to college because you had to. I felt like I had to go to college, right? Or else I would be on the street, right? So it was the one thing that kind of connected me to the school. And at the same time, I had a professor, a Swedish man named Nicholas Mir. And at the time it was 2009, social media was barely a thing. Social media was just Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. And it was only like 3-4 years from that point where it started, 4 years maybe. And I was on all of those things. So I was able to, we started this club on campus. I had this professor, Nicholas Mir, who was was teaching social media in 2009, which was kind of crazy, right? And he brought in guest speakers, I'm here today. He brought in some amazing guest speakers, leaders of the industry. I don't know if you guys know who Seth Godin is. Seth Godin is a very famous marketing author and speaker. And he has this book called Tribes. And tribes is basically this concept like that the internet kind of flattens the world where you can connect with people around shared interests, right? And like now we've had 20 years of this, so we kind of understand what that looks like. But in America, it's like kind of divided people. I don't know how it is out here, but in America, like the internet has divided people. But at the very beginning, and I think it still does, it does connect people, right? You can find your tribe via shared interests, and that's what we did with this company called Team Backpack, right? We started as a club on campus. We all left school. Some of the team, they left college. They didn't even graduate. I graduated, but while I was graduating, we started putting together events in San Francisco, in Los Angeles, in San Diego, in Las Vegas, around all the rappers that we were working with. And in order to do so, or in order to market the shows, we started creating content. It was called the Team Backpack Cipher. So for about 7 years, 2010 to 2017, me and my team through Team Backpack, we put out one video a week, original video a week for those 7 years, pretty much without fail, right? All original music, all original rappers, all completely original stuff, right? And at that time, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, they all prioritized original content, right? This is before viral, right? This was before everyone was going viral. We were going viral, right? And it's because, people have this affinity all around the world for rap music. I realized that, by coming here, this conference that we're doing, there's a bunch of rappers, right? So, it was essentially, let's see, where we were throwing events in Barcelona, in India, in Canada, around the world, right? Because people, it's just, you think about it, it's just a platform. It's like we were using these platforms and we put the content out there and a bunch of people were drawn to it, right? I traveled the world because of it. It was, it was one of those things where it's like, that first thing probably is going to be the biggest thing I ever did. Or it took seven. It took 7 years. It took 7 years. Like the first 4 years was very hard. It was very hard. But you hit this tipping point. If you do things consistently enough, you hit the tipping point. And we started regionally in California, and we had just hundreds of rappers. There's so many rappers, right? Like, and at the beginning, no one was a big name. It was just the fact that you're putting 3 or 4 people on the same video, and you're garnering all the audience into one video, and then they all become fans of each other, right? It's the multiplication effect of a shared audience, right? So we did that. You do that enough times for 4 years. By 2014, Facebook basically gave us tons of free reach, tons and tons of free reach between 2014 to 2016, 17. At the height there, we were getting about 250 million people in reach a month. 15, 16, yeah.
2009 when you started? What was the reach then?
It was nothing. It was nothing because it was just a profile, right? The news feed came along, and then they had native video on Facebook, right? And then they let us go viral. But you know what they were doing? Like I've used all these distribution platforms, and I love them all, but I fucking hate them all because they're just mining our data, right? So between 2014 and 2016, we would put all our original videos on Facebook from YouTube, and we would get, like I said, 250 million people in reach a month. We had, like, our biggest event was 2016 in New York City. We had about 5,000 people, pull up over the course of 3 or 4 days, and they were all from all over the world because we built like this cult-like following, right? The problem was I was only 26, right? And everyone else in my team was 26. We took no outside funding. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing, and it all fell apart. It all fell apart now. So 2016, 2017, it all fell apart. I got into the music industry. This allowed me at least to get into the music industry. I moved from Los Angeles, which is, I don't recommend living in Los Angeles ever. New York I do because of the hustle and the culture. So I got to New York because of this company, and I was able to get more contracts in the actual music business, right? In the music industry. I helped artists get signed. I worked with some of the biggest artists in the game, Akon, Timbaland, Nas, helped artists like get, major, high 7-figure deals, and, started playing that game, kind of got away from that authentic community side that we were building, that I fell in love with, and just started focusing on obviously just that. And since it's been about 10 years since then, right? Like some of the lessons I think that I learned during this time, 2010 to 2017, are now coming back because of how the internet is changing, how AI is kind of taking over, the market in a way where it's flattened. It's essentially flattened the ability to create and produce. Anyone can produce now.
But that's at the same time, it gives you more opportunity, but it gives everybody.
It gives everyone. It's exactly. The competition is higher, but then what actually matters is everything else. But like the music matters. You have to be like that's a prereq at the end of the day. Like the art and the quality of the art is a prerequisite. However you augment that with these tools, honestly, it's all good. The two new tools have been coming since forever, right? So there's a force multiplier effect when it comes to these tools now, where you can take it 10x, 100x, right? Just creating with it is fine, but it's not going to do anything. If everyone can create, why does it even matter? It's about creating a business around it. It's about creating a community around it. It's about creating livelihoods around it, right? And that's something I've done my whole career. It's like, yes, everyone I know raps. Everyone I know fucking makes music. Now, even more people can do it. Like, I can do it now, but I'm not going to, because like, what does that matter? I'd rather see a real thing start blooming. I'd rather see an entity made out of, music and art, right? So, when it comes like, just to get back to like the thesis that I'm working towards right now, it's like, everyone can kind of produce, but not everyone can compound. Not everyone can take that and turn it into a, even a six-figure business, right?
It should be the poster of the creative business program that we have.
Yeah, well, it's compound. It means like compounding interest. It's just like you one turns to two, turns to four, turns to it's taking it to the next level, but it's a compounding effect. It's a scale effect. It's a force multiplier effect, where it's like it 10x's, it 100x's, it 1000x's, especially now when you have the internet working the way it does, and there is this need for authenticity, right? The authentic voices, the real voices, are going to stand out more, right? If you're all AI, no one's going to give a shit. No one's going to. It doesn't even matter if no one's going to pay attention. And I think we're like 6 months away from that, right? Because these platforms, all these platforms, are being flooded right now, right? This is why I'm doing this right now. This is because I realized, so I was always talking to artists, like telling them, you got to make content. You got to sit there and make content every day. Do your dances, sing, make content. But I wasn't doing it myself. I wasn't actually, practicing what I preached. And until I did that, I felt like a fraud. I was like, telling all my friends, oh, dude, like, what are you doing? You're not making content, bro. It's like, okay, well, maybe I should be making content. So I started doing that. Top of this year in January, I started I have all these devices because it's part of the job. I just started turning it on, started talking shit on camera. Just straight up just talking shit. I'll show you. Because, in this era of production where everyone can create, and the whole idea for a long time was like, it's all about the numbers. We got to make the numbers look good. We got to make the numbers look good. It doesn't matter at all. Like the numbers matter as you scale, but like, especially when you're starting out, like, 70, I think I have like 79 subscribers on here. Honestly, those 79 subscribers are people that I do business with, people that are paying me money to work with them, right? Like, I have like, I think the beginning of the year, I just challenged myself. I was like, all right, I'm going to do a video every weekday for 30 days. And it was very hard. And it was just yapping. It was just like, me talking shit in front of the camera, right? And it challenged me to like just show up though on a daily basis for everything else. Because if you put a camera in front of your face and you just start talking, and like obviously you have to look presentable, you have to, especially if you're like in this world of remote work, you're not always showing up all the time. So what it did, it like forced me to like sit there, think about the thesis, think about the narrative, think about what I want to present to the world.
Plan,
Yeah, actually something like it is a bit unstructured.
Yeah,
But-
that's
but-
also a plan.
Yeah, exactly. But it's worked, right? It's, people see that I'm not. There's very few cuts. There's no cuts in it. I'm just talking. Like the first one I did was, I think it was January 9th, and I just called it Daily Music Business Work and Other BS Maybe, right? And the last one I did was 3 weeks ago. My framework for building businesses with super intelligence. And between that, there's about like 30, 35 videos. And it's mostly highlighting other people I work with, because I realized like that's a cool way to push it forward without thinking too hard. And then I realized like if I just talk, that gets more engagement, right? Even if I have like some really star-studded guests, I could have like a big rapper on there, people don't really care. That just showed me like people are here for me. People are here to like listen to me talk, right? And like, so that comes with the responsibility, right? And like, and I think now, and I challenge like all you guys in your careers, like you don't have to do this, but think about how you can use these mediums in this time when like, it's being flooded, where you can like just stand out, right? And it's not just about getting views and going viral. It's just like the way the platforms work, it just surfaces content to the people that are most likely to actually care, right? And it's free. Like before, for many years, like we talked about Facebook, right? We talked about YouTube. When we were putting those videos up on Facebook, hundreds of millions of people, 1 billion people probably saw our stuff at the time when Facebook was growing at that level. And 2017, what do? They just said, oh, your reach is gone. You have to pay for it now. So that's when I learned how to do Facebook advertising, meta advertising, or, advertising on these platforms. And, that's lasted about 8-9 years now. And now that's changing again, right? How many, do you guys know what AI agents are? Have you heard of agents?
AI agents?
Agents.
You know
Anyone?
everything about AI. A lot.
Okay, so there's this new thing called AI agents.
Oh,
Sorry.
you have a meeting.
So there's this new thing called AI agents. It's the talk of the town. Google is talking about it. Meta is talking about it. All the big, I'm sure you've heard of Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, obviously. So there's this new wave coming of where like, it's not even about us prompting. It's about us having, like I have about 150 group chats right now of me and my clients with an AI agent in there, my own AI agent that sits at home in New York City on my Mac Mini, that operates from my Mac Mini and actually does work on our behalf. It's like, oh, I need a website made. Okay, boom, it's ready. Oh, I need this copy done. Okay, it's ready. And people, like, I'm ahead on this stuff because I'm technological. I understand this. I'm ahead. I'm even farther ahead, in market than Google and Facebook are for once in my life. And so I'm like, okay, how do I use this as a tool to get my word out there, get my voice out there, help all my clients get their stuff out there, right? And the opportunity that we have to take these tools, it's going to come. And after this meeting or after this conversation, I'd love to connect with you guys. I can show you how it's all working and what's coming on all these platforms, because it's changing fast. It's going to change really fast. And you've heard it here now, and you'll probably see it all over your feeds now that you've heard it. But there's this opportunity to take all this technology, take your point of views, take your creative businesses that you're building and compound it, right? Because what I say in this, few can compound, it really then comes back to real life shit. It comes back to taste and judgment. I think taste and judgment are the same thing almost, right? The ability to choose what to put together is really important, right? Then, taking that taste, taking that judgment, turning it into product, turning it into some product or IP that can build. Then taking that product and IP and distributing it, right? How do you distribute it? Through these platforms. Use the AI agents however you need to push it out through all the platforms, right? But make sure it feels real. And yeah, like use AI, the thing about these stupid platforms are that like it's all about quantity, volume now, unfortunately. But you can take something very real. I've taken all these videos and I've chopped it up into a million pieces, right? Like the good thing about sitting here and yapping for 10 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever, however long it is for each of these videos, I just throw it into the AI. It then gives me 100 clips that can just be pushed out there. And obviously that's where the taste and judgment come in. Does this work? Should I be pushing this out? Right?
I think that's where the essence is, right? Where do you decide where you as a human make decisions, and where do you let your AI agent do the thing?
Prepare for that. But yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's a little farther, it's way more farther ahead than we humans are, right? And so, but it comes back to the same stuff. Let me just show you actually here what I did. So I have like this framework that anyone can produce, few can compound, and it's really so like the music industry itself it has already experienced this, right? That's why I feel like I'm ahead. The music industry, like music was worth something at one point. Like the actual music itself, it still is, but you have to make it worth something. You can just put it on streaming. You can put it on YouTube. You can create it in Suno. It's music, but music, physical, tactile music used to be worth something, and then it went to zero with streaming, with piracy and then streaming. So music and music artists had to just fucking figure it out. We had to just figure out how to build the communities, build the networks, like go direct to fans, create your own live experiences. And this is what, New School Rules, I think does really well, for the artist community, here in Holland, but also all over Europe. It's like empowering that type of mindset in these creators, in these music creators. But so the lesson of streaming in that like there was, this drop in value for millions of like just all these music artists has created that need, that importance of creating real businesses out of it. So this is kind of my mental model is like we have this super intelligence everywhere. We have ChatGPT, Claude, and everything. It's so many more coming out. I'm sure there's companies here in Holland that are building your own systems that will empower you guys here. But like you just use the hell out of all that and build your own system at the same time, because there's something called open source. There's these there's these tools that you can take all the intelligence and put it on your own system. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I help all my clients do, right? So like use, and just like how Facebook, they just took all of our content, they pushed it out to everyone, and then just took back all the data and sold it back to us. That's what I'm saying. We do at the same time, because they're going to continue doing that to us. We use their agents, they're just going to take all that information. Everything you put in ChatGPT, they're taking. It's unfortunate, but like just use that intelligence and pull it into your own systems. That in practice, I can get deeper into. I won't get into that right now. But where it really matters, right, is it's all about coming back to humans in the loop, right? Taste, catalog, and IP. Distribution is putting your content out there, putting the message out there. One thing a friend of mine told me, like this guy named Raj, he's on one of the vlogs on my channel. He's been preaching content for a very long time, and like it's much easier said than done. Like I said, I was telling people to just create content for so long, right? And I wasn't doing it myself. But until I started doing it and putting my face out there and talking, I didn't realize what it could do, because all that content is doing is stretching. Like we're having this interaction right here, right? This is the highest engagement that we will ever have probably, right? But in between now and the next time, if we ever do meet again, maybe it's this weekend at this conference, there is content that keeps the conversation and message top of mind, right? And that's what content is for. It doesn't matter if you even respond to it. It doesn't matter if you comment on it. It doesn't matter if you like it. If you saw it and it impacted your day, even just a little bit, and you thought, hey, maybe I can do that, that's all that matters. Content just stretches the conversation. It stretches the message across space and time like nothing ever has, right? It's valuable. These clips, everything is valuable in that side.
And it builds a connection.
It builds a connection. And I'm not the type of person that likes calls. I hate being on calls all day. Some people love it. and more than they should. I don't want to have 1,000 phone calls. If we can have a baseline of what I put something out there, 100 people, 1,000 people see it, we have a baseline to work off of now, where we can skip all the stuff that you might already know because you heard me talk about it, right? That's what I've seen content do, and my personal brand and branded content do recently. So that comes down to the distribution, but then it creates community. That content creates some community. That community turns into a live experience like this. I don't think I'd be here in the Netherlands unless I did a bunch of the stuff, before that around my career. And the live experience, IRL, they're saying this, I'm sure you guys know who Gary Vee is. And the stuff he spews every day about, media and social media and all this stuff and marketing. In real life is going to make a massive comeback. I don't know if that's how it is already here. Like, I'm not as familiar with the, community out here, but in America, people got very polarized and insular and just doing this all day, all night. All it is this, and that's real life. And it's not at all, right? We use it to distribute our content, but it's not real life. If we can use that to bring people together, that's where real relationships get built. It's where the trust gets built. And that's where the data comes in to just start this over and over again. Just keep growing this, compounding this, right? This is real. Everything on here, it's just a tool, right? AI is just a tool, but this is the business. Everything about this is what grows the business now.
So your goal is building relationships.
It's building businesses, and I think relationships are the most important thing in building business, right? And so the way I work, like I have my own company, Tejent Enterprises, and I partner, like most of my, either it's a client relationship or it's a partnership. And I like to partner with a bunch of different people and have them build their business, and I help them build their business. That's my main business model at this point. And I put a lot of stock into that, even more so than like retainer business, because I think now it's coming to the point where everyone's starting to realize this, and this is where it all compounds, right? Now that there's more and more opportunity to create and produce things, the real businesses are coming together and connecting, right? I've been in Europe 3 times in the last 6 weeks, and back and forth from New York, and like I'm seeing opportunities in London that I never saw before, because of this thing happening in real time. And also there's this confusion about AI. There's this confusion about what people need to be building that I'm kind of able to help people through, right? I'd say that there's new opportunities to build all types of businesses. And I think, like, when it comes to media and the creative arts, right? I was telling you guys earlier, I think it's the most opportunity. The creative arts around businesses, like so many, even just like insurance businesses in America are hiring storytellers. They're hiring communicators, right? Like people that are into culture, right? Sitting there programming isn't a thing anymore, right? Sitting there and building, marketing plans is great, but ChatGPT can do it. So it's you executing that. It's you live. It's the intelligence is all there, and it's our job to complete this cipher. So, yeah, it's there's a lot of opportunity when you start seeing it outside the technical space, right? If you start seeing it past the internet, I know like our day-to-days are like run by that method, like that thinking, but you just use it to your advantage to just do this. Yeah.